Minnesota Vikings could and should be in the market to find their future franchise quarterback. And I know you're talking looking at the big guys. Trevor Lawrence, 6'6". Justin Fields is built like a brick poop house. Trey Lance, no pantser. Trey Lance is monstrous as well. But what about the fun-sized guy of this draft class? What about one Derek King from the University of Miami? That's just a U being the U, baby. By way of the University of Houston. Let's talk about him today. So, Derek King, 5'11", 202, redshirt senior. Now, was formerly a 3 to 4 star recruit from Manville, Texas, which is a southern suburb of Houston. By the way, he was high school teammates with Florida quarterback Kyle Trask. So if they're both making the league, I'm sure that the TV coverage won't beat that one to death. But decided to stay at home with the Houston Cougars. Now, Tom Herman, he's not a good coach, but he's a phenomenal recruiter. So that was the final year that he was in Houston before he took the Longhorns job. Is Texas back? No. But 2016... historic class for Houston because Ed Oliver stayed in town for the Houston Cougars as well. Eventually was the number 9 overall pick for the Bills. Just absolute great get. Plus Derek King stays home as well because King was offered by Clemson, Cal, Baylor, TCU. He even committed to TCU. But then eventually decided to go to Houston because all those other schools wanted him to play wide receiver or DB. Houston was going to give him a shot to play quarterback, which is what he wanted, which is great. And then, of course, his true freshman year, he played wide receiver. So Houston was marred by injuries, and then current Eagles wide receiver Greg Ward was playing some pretty good quarterback there the final year in Houston. So he put up 29 catches, 228, and a touchdown as a rotational wide receiver. Finally secured the full-time job in 2018. Put up just shy of 3,000 yards passing, had 9.9 yards per attempt, 36 touchdowns, 6 picks. Ended up having the third most touchdowns in the country behind only Kyler Murray and Dwayne Haskins. Perhaps you've heard of them. Ended up being second team all AAC. Also, he did all this in only 11 games because late November he tore up his knee, tore a meniscus, so that ended his season there. But Dana Holgerson took over, came over from West Virginia, going to run some air raid with Derek King. Let's go. Was on the Heisman watch list early in 2019, but then after a couple games in the season, it just wasn't clicking. Decided to take a red shirt, and then eventually he decided to transfer to Miami. Now he's with the Hurricanes. They're off to a 5-1 start. Currently the number 11 team in the country. They were as high as 7 before they got blown out against number 1 Clemson, 42-17. But who doesn't get blown out by Clemson? I know. But so far, he's thrown for just shy of 1,400 yards passing, 11 touchdowns, 4 picks, a 141.1 quarterback rating, as well as he's run for 301 yards and 2 touchdowns as well. So offensively, it's cool to see him in the new Hurricanes offense. So Manny Diaz brought on Rhett Lachey, who's their offense coordinator. Rising star. I think he's late 30s. He's just one of those offensive wunderkinds in the sort of the Joe Brady mold. Former Gus Malzahn disciple. He was with Gus at Arkansas State as well as at Auburn. And so think like the Cam Newton Auburn offense when they beat Oregon in the national title game that season. And then you'll have a good idea of what's going on with Derek King in Miami. So up-tempo, simple, fast is simple is fast. Read option, using the quarterback's athleticism to open up running lanes and opportunities for other guys on the offense. It's really fun. It's a great college offense. And also some of these concepts starting to trickle up to the NFL. You see it with Lamar Jackson. You see it with Kyler Murray for sure. And it is good to see. Now, the comparisons with the shorter quarterbacks in the league are going to be inevitable. So you got Russ, you got Kyler. I mean, Baker to a degree, but Baker's certainly not even in the same solar system in terms of athleticism. But, pros for Derek is that he's an absolute elite athlete. He is. I think he's a better athlete than Kyler, certainly a better athlete than Russ, but also he isn't a run-first quarterback, which is great to see, and that's something that we talked about when the Vikings need a mobile quarterback debate. It's like he uses his movement skills as a threat. He uses movement skills to buy a little extra time to find that throw downfield, which is as opposed to a mobile college quarterback who just like one read, I'm just going to run. Right. Also pro leadership maturity. You got the intangibles. Now, he was a team captain day one in Miami, which ironically is very similar to what happened with Russ when he went from NC State. When he was beat out by Mike Glennon, and then he went to the Badgers for 1 year, which I still don't recognize don't. He went to NC State. And then also, yeah, very sadly, his father Eric passed away in February, and his dad Eric had been his coach and his closest confidant, and also his mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. She beat it in July, which is awesome, fantastic. Prayers up, love to see that. So I mean, this kid has had a lot thrown at him by life, and he's still standing, he's still tall, and he's still a leader, and I absolutely love it. He's developing as a passer. More of an athlete who could throw at Houston, but now you're seeing a lot more consistent accuracy. You're seeing a lot more throws with anticipation. So I think he's becoming he's gone from a thrower. He's certainly on his way to becoming a passer. And also the arm talent is there. I mean, kid can deliver a frozen rope, deep or outside the numbers. It has a lot of stank on it. Cons. So height is always going to be there, but I think it's a lot like Kyler, a lot like Russ, because a lot like Drew Brees to a degree, because they've always been that height. So they've always dealt with taller offensive linemen. So you almost do get adjust with sight lines as well as delivery, as well as angle. So I think it's going to be less of a stigma than it would have been in years previously, because back-to-back number one overall picks, Baker and Kyler, are both 6 foot or under, right? And of course, the success of Russ being 5'10" is notable as well. Also, So some teams still hold the whole college offense thing against players, even though it is trickling up to the NFL level. You got air raid in Houston under Holgerson. You got spread option in Miami. So durability, size combined with his 2018 injury that ended his season, there's some concerns there. Plus, long-ish delivery. It's not terrible. I almost didn't list it, but it just has a little shortstop to first base in the windup. It's not a Byron Leftwich. It's not anything like that, but some good quarterback coaching will be able to tighten that thing up a little bit. Maybe he'll work with George Whitfield leading up to the draft. So I'm not overly concerned about that. But I mean, he certainly is intriguing because I don't think that he works his way into the first round conversation, but he will be an interesting day two guy because he's still a plus athlete. He's got solid pocket awareness, and I think that there's a lot that you can build off of, especially as you see the success of Kyler Murray, who Rookie of the Year and now is really developing up a nice sophomore season in the NFL. And he's just an easy kid to root for. I think he's a leader. I think he brings a lot of the intangibles that you want at the quarterback position. And like I said, I don't think that he sneaks into the first round, but if a team gets him and they have an offense coordinator or quarterback coach that is all in and ready to build a system around the kid's talents as opposed to trying to jam the kid into their system. Maybe he sits for a year, maybe he sits for two, and then all of a sudden you just unleash him on the league. Woo! Super intriguing to me because I think that he does have potentially one of the highest ceilings of any of the guys in this draft class relative to where they're perceived at right now. So bring it on. Bring it on. It's a lot of fun to watch the U. Is the U back? Kind of to a degree. They won't be Clemson, but they'll get into a decent bowl game. And I think that Derek King's going to be a big part of that. And yeah, he's catching on some hype. I think him and Wilson, the quarterback from BYU, are the two quarterbacks are ratcheting up the most right now. Well, that and Justin Fields. If only he gets to play Nebraska every single week, but nah. All right, so your thoughts, Derek King, U versus Miami. That's just the U being the U, baby. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Viking Stakes. Want to support that work? Pull some of the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.